What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on some a topic that Corey Holcomb brought up on his last podcast, right? And the way Corey Holcomb, did I say Hopkins? The way Corey Holcomb and the guy Craig Fax spoke about Deion Sanders and his health concerns, man. I thought was very important. I thought it was the interesting point of view, and I think it's something that people really need to think about, right? And so, and Corey Holcomb is not the first person that I heard talk about this, but like I said, and I wanted to make this video because I think that this is an important topic. When you see an athlete, a superior athlete, somebody like Deion Sanders, who is having the kind of health problems that he's having, you just can't help but wonder, like, why is somebody like Deion Sanders going through something like this, right? And for him to be as young as he is and to be in as great a shape, you talking about somebody, Deion Sanders, who is like a world class athlete, and at a genius at what he did, like as far as the sports, just a genius, in my opinion, a genius in general, right? And so let me say, I just think that like what he's going through, I think is just crazy. So with that being said, I'm going to play what Corey Holcomb had to say about what he think about Deion Sanders being such a young man and being in shape that he in, and what his thoughts, him and Craig Fax, what their thoughts are about this situation. So let me
Was hands down one of the greatest athletes ever.
Yeah, for sure.
Am I exaggerating that at all?
Nah, he is man, top five. The
You heard
athletes,
Craig?
any sport, any era ever.
Deion Sanders is one of the greatest athletes ever.
I like you said athlete and not just football player.
I'm glad you just say
He played
athlete.
baseball.
That's what I'm saying, athlete. Oh, yeah.
And what he did on the football field, if you know anything about athleticism when he was young, he was a big guy who moved so nimbly. It was like this man was playing offense and defense. He can help your team in more ways than one. He was getting money back in the day in a way where what the 49ers gave him and then what the Cowboys gave him at the time, that was like crazy money.
Yeah. And his brain, too. Deion Sanders is a genius. The way he marketed himself, he started that shit in college. And he sat and plotted out to be prime. That was something he sat down
Prime time,
and
yeah,
came
that's
up
right.
with. So he was really one of the first athletes I can remember, but after Muhammad Ali, that really took a vested interest on how to market himself and maximize his dollar. He's a complete genius.
Now listen to
athletically and
this.
mentally.
all right, and so let me speak to what Craig Fax said, like, because Deion Sanders is a genius. Um, most like, and most people, like, even today, when you think about how people market themselves, how they promote themselves, and how they build their brands, they still don't reach the level of being able to promote and market yourself like what Dion did when he was in college and then when he came to the NFL, right? And not only did he play in the NFL, but he played professional baseball. You know, I think Deion Sanders was the only athlete to ever score a touchdown and a and hit a home run in the same day. He I forgot the baseball team he played for, but Craig makes an excellent point. Deion Sanders was a genius, still is a genius. He's a genius, and he was before his time. And even in this day and age, you don't see people who can brand themselves the way Deion Sanders brand themselves. And we have all this technology with the internet and social media and stuff like that, and people still can't, you know, brand themselves the way Deion Sanders is branding himself right now.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that. Listen to this. Here's the but,
Uh-oh.
because we dying too young.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders is sick too much now.
Yeah.
And it's not a natural sickness. It's the blood clot game
Yeah.
that come from, be careful how we speak on this, do you dig?
Yeah.
He was one of the main people advertising and promoting the you dig. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You remember when Aaron Rodgers wouldn't take the you dig?
Right.
And people was acting like, oh, he bogus for this, he bogus for that. I remember the tennis player who's one of the greatest ever. I don't know why I can't think of his name. They call him the Joker.
Back in the day or new?
Back in the
He's still
Agassi?
playing.
Oh, he's still playing. I don't know.
He's from where the dude who played basketball is from. But they call him the Joker in tennis. Djokovic or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
one,
But he would not get down with the you dig. And they was telling him he can't play in tennis tournaments, turning him away, embarrassing him and everything. But this what I'm saying. I'm not stupid. When you see a man put together like Deion Sanders, and you're watching what's happening to him now, this man is missing toes. This ain't no man who went out and ate himself bad and all like that. This man is falling apart. What I'm saying is, out here in this world, somebody said Djokovic. Yeah.
Oh.
What I'm saying, Novak Djokovic, that's the tennis player I'm talking about. He would not get down how they want him to get down.
And that's true. I remember the tennis player. They was Novak Djokovic. I remember people denying him the opportunity to play tennis because he didn't want to. He didn't want to go along with what they were trying to get him to do in order to play tennis, right? Then you had Aaron Rodgers, was the same thing, and then Stephen A. Smith, was saying stuff about Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers did not want to participate in what was going on as far as like being able to, like what Corey Holcomb is saying with the get down, right? But my thing is, not only with Deion Sanders, but when you have people that come from the African American community, our community, geniuses like that, it always seems, in my opinion, and I want to, and this is a question I have for people that participate in the chat. Like, the tragedy always seems to strike in our community more often than not, right? When you look at the history of people who have been geniuses in our community, it always seems to be like some type of tragedy that befalls them. And so my question is, do you think that, do we live, in your opinion, in a time where people try to punish genius or suppress genius? I don't think that you can really suppress genius. When you talk about people in our community who are geniuses, I don't think like you can suppress that. Like what Deion Sanders bring to the table, you can't suppress that. What Muhammad Ali brought to the table, you couldn't suppress that. That type of genius. Tupac, in my opinion, was a genius. I even think that I think Corey Holcomb himself, I think Corey Holcomb is a genius. Like, you can't, like, your enemies can't suppress the genius in you. And even if those guys wanted to suppress their own genius, they couldn't do it, because it's just something in you. That's the way you are, and that's how you're going to. It's just how you are going to be. I don't even think that they can suppress it, but I do think that people, in my opinion, I think that they attack that type of genius, and they penalize people for being for geniuses in their own, in whatever their field of endeavor is. I think Kanye West is a genius. I thought DMX was a genius, and so more often than not, it just seems to me that people it seems like, and that's what I say, I want your opinion on this. Do you think that geniuses are under attack? And let me get back to some more of what Corey is speaking on.
Him and Aaron Rodgers don't look like nothing is wrong with them. They look fine. But what I'm saying is, there was this, you got to motherfucking have this, you dig. You dig what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm watching this blood clot game happen. I'm listening to what people got to say who are coroners about what they find in these people. We are dying sooner than we supposed to, and I'm saying, like, if it happens again, because they're gonna come at you again, they're gonna come at you, America, again. They're gonna come at you, world, again, with this, we need you to get down with the you dig. Man, people are sick. People are just dropping. I'm talking about, like, I'm not talking about people who are out of shape. I'm not talking about people who necessarily abuse drugs.
And see, that's the thing, right? When you talk about people who people have like pre-existing conditions, like that's one thing, right? But when you have, you know, because if you have a existing condition, then people probably wouldn't take as much notice to what happens to people, you know, how like they get sick, because those people may not, typically sometimes they might be indulging in something like taking drugs or maybe alcohol or smoking or something like that. But when you talking about somebody like Deion Sanders, who is a world-class athlete, and for him to be going through what he's going through as far as blood clots, you know, that gets people's attention. Like what's going on? You know, somebody, and even now, like when you watch Deion Sanders on the sideline of the you know, of the football games, you don't look at it, you don't see a guy who's overweight. You know, you see a guy who look like he has maintained himself. So that's what, you know, that's what catches people attention when you see something like that. And like I said, in our community, it just seems like that tragedy strikes like, and it's, you know, like tragedy just strikes too often for, in my opinion, for it to be just a coincidence. So let me get back to some more what Corey and his panel is talking about.
If you abuse drugs, you really going down if you was on the dig. Because I remember when my brother, DMX, didn't want to get down with the you dig, but to go on tour opportunities were there for him. And of course he got down with the you dig, and we see what happened. Right. I'm not blind, I'm watching it. If you don't just drop, you literally fall apart while you're still at an age where you're supposed to be out here striving. Deion Sanders ain't no elderly man.
I was looking up that. I was looking up.
And so, and that the point he makes about DMX, right? Having to you know, like to in order for him to do tours and stuff, like to make money and stuff like that, and to go along with that program, that's tragic too. I know now, whether you believe like something like this is going on or not, I still think, and I recommend that people just, you have to take your health in your own you know, like take charge of your health. Be, you know, like don't take people's word for like this is good for you, that's good for you, because you know, like your health is that's like your responsibility. Definitely take responsibility for your own health, and don't rely on somebody else, man, because things like this, in my opinion, happens too often. And for Deion Sanders to be going through having the type of health ailments that he's having is crazy. I know. I remember when Deion Sanders used to play football, and he was suffering from turf toe. Now, you know, and so they try to allude to and try to say that like this is an extension of like what he suffered when he was playing football. I had turf toe before too when I used to play basketball, and I never had to have an operation or anything like that. I just allowed my foot to heal. And it's just crazy what Deion Sanders is going through. But let me get to. I think they were going to get more into depth about what his condition is. Deion Sanders' condition is.
The cause, because I wanted to look back and see how far back it was when he had his toes removed, and that was right after that. So that was 2021.
Yeah.
And then they said that
In 2021, my brother
toes
Deion
removed.
was out there saying, hey, get down with you dig. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was in 2021. It's 2026 now.
And they said it was the lack of blood flow caused to his toes, and they said it's called compartment syndrome. Then you look compartment syndrome up, and it's a painful condition caused by dangerously high pressure within the muscles.
Deion Sanders even questioned, I'm blanking on the quarterback. He play in Pittsburgh now.
Smith, Geno Smith?
No, I'm talking about the quarterback that they said was one of the greatest, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders questioned Aaron Rodgers' leadership. As we all know, Aaron Rodgers had one of them nonsense cards that everybody had. The ones that, it was showing that. You know what I'm saying? And it was people knocking Aaron Rodgers for that. But this is what I'm saying. I think Aaron Rodgers is a very arrogant man. But what I am saying, I think that Aaron Rodgers was smart enough to know this is my body and I don't know what that is.
Yeah, and see that goes to my point. Not only Aaron Rodgers, but I remember Kyrie Irving, took some flack for not wanting to go along with that program. And right, that's my point. You can't you can't entrust your health to somebody else. You got to participate in taking care of yourself, and that's the thing. People, they trust doctors and they trust doctors when like the person who your body better than anybody, better than any medical doctor, and so only time people really seriously get into thinking about or go into depth about their own health is when they face some type of crisis, right? When they face some type of crisis, then that's when they go into, they do research and stuff like that. I've seen people like almost become experts when it comes to like if they have some type of medical condition that they never, people start doing research and they'll learn about it because they want to get better, and so that's what we have to do from the jump. We just can't wait until we get sick and then rely on a doctor or some type of medical professional to to bring us back to health. We have to maintain our health and be aware of our health from the very beginning, before we even run into any type of issues, man. When it comes to the diet, exercise, the amount of rest that we get and stuff like that, man, we have to be very aware of our health, man, and the stress that plays a lot in it. So let me get back to what Corey is talking about.
I think that Aaron Rodgers was smart enough to say, you dig what I'm saying? I ain't getting down with that. And I remember Stephen A. Smith, who I'm going to bring up in a minute, was knocking him too. This is what I'm saying, homie. There's a connection with this dying young and the you dig. Trust me. You ain't got to believe me. But those who are wise, listen. Don't let people tell you. I got some, like, they got a Michael Jackson video, Say. They was selling this super tonic. Make you feel strong and all this on the video. You get what I'm saying? I hope nobody think I'm dissing my brother. Because
No.
I'm not. I'm just saying
Some
he
people-
was misinformed.
Right.
He was misinformed, as so were so many of the people in the world. They were misinformed by the same suspects.
They said Aaron Rodgers.
Somebody say, man, stop spreading nonsense. Be damn.
They
If I'm
said-
spreading nonsense,
And so people that are, like if you disagree with what Corey's saying or with what Craig is saying, even if you disagree, like I said, it's I would advise you to take take responsibility for your own health, and don't just rely on the word of somebody who you think is a medical professional, right? Because again, I just think that even though these people go to school for all these years and stuff like that, they don't know your body the way you know your body. And if you study, like I said, I have seen people study and research and stuff like that and heal themselves or help in the, at the very least, you want to be able to help in the process of healing yourself. But when you put your whole when you put your life in somebody else's hands, and especially somebody who has a whole, they have a whole lot of other people who are putting their, I don't know, man. I just think that you should take you should take the lead on something like that. No, with hand down. So if you disagree with Corey, that's cool. But at least do the research. And so if you come to some type of conclusion, then you come into that conclusion from from like it's knowledge based. You've done the research, and then you can debate somebody like Corey, or you can push back on not just Corey Holcomb, but you can push back on anybody who you think is who you disagree with. And so that's all I would have to say about that. And I'm gonna get back to what Corey is saying.
nonsense, be damn. But I'm here to tell you, we're not living to be 70, 80, 90 no more. People are dropping. People are dropping. I think Kyrie Irving is a very arrogant man. But I tell you what, I salute Kyrie Irving. He was like, man, y'all want to take this little nonsense paper away. And then all of a sudden, they let people back and they start paying people who was not getting paid because they wasn't with getting down with the you did.
Right.
So really, the NBA owed Kyrie Irving because you told him he couldn't play because he would not give in and put the you dig in his system. Do these mics ever work?
And so let me say something about that, right? Sometimes people feel peer pressure, right? They feel peer pressure to go along with the crowd and go along with status quo. And you get pressure from that, and you get pressure to conform. And sometimes, man, if your heart is telling you to do something else, you have to endure that peer pressure. You got to go the other way, and that's a lesson that a lot of us get taught when we're young. Do not bow down to peer pressure. Don't don't just follow the crowd. You hear people mothers say, well, if this person jump out the window, are you going to jump with them? Or if this person jump off a bridge, you're going to jump with them? It's all about people thinking for themselves. And that's the whole thing. If you think for yourself, then you will feel a lot better about the decisions you make than rather if you allow somebody to lead you down a path and that path turns out to not be the right path for you, and then you'll have regret then. But if you go down a path and you make a mistake on your own, then the regret is different. Especially if you making a educated and informed decision, then it's a whole different it won't be as bad if you're making an educated and an informed decision. And so let me get back to what Corey is saying.
It's not bad.
Oh, well, anyway, I'm just saying, man, somebody has to say it. We speak out here on this street side of the game. You get what I'm saying? So we ain't said nothing. but we said something because everybody who really get down like we get down know what I'm talking about. There is a connection between the you dig and shortness in life and people falling apart.
All right. And so, and something else I want to add to that, right? And it's just not like not just the you dig as Corey refers to it, but I just think that tragedy is, like tragedy befalls our community a lot more often than it does any other community. Like when you think about like what the percentage of what we are to the population, it's just disproportionate. It really is, and so look at the history of like all the great entertainers and all the geniuses that come from our community, and look at the small amount, like how much tragedy befalls everybody who is in the public light, somebody who is a genius in the community. How often do these people get to be celebrated and walk off into the sunset with and enjoy the accolades and the rewards of what they contributed to our society? It's just a not it's just too. I don't think it's a coincidence, in my opinion. And so, like I said, and with Deion Sanders, man, I hate to see a guy, with this genius have to go through what he's going through as far as the blood clots and his health condition and stuff like that. Hopefully, Deion Sanders will beat this and will be, he'll overcome this, and and be okay with this. But that's all I have for this topic, man. I appreciate the way that that Corey had brung this up. Like I was going to talk about it because I seen somebody else bring it up, but the way Corey Holcomb had set it up and brought it to our attention, I thought like this was a better opportunity for me to comment and give my commentary on this topic. So with that being said, man, y'all make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. I want to know what people think about this. Don't just look at Deion Sanders' situation. Look at like all the geniuses that have come like through history from our community and who never really had the opportunity to walk off into the sunset and enjoy the fruits of their labor. Enjoy, like what they contributed to our culture, our community, to this country. It's disproportionate if you look at it. Tragedy strikes too often. So with that being said, man, like and subscribe to the video. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.